Okay, hello again. We are starting from exactly 5 minutes from now. So right now it is 5:22. We are starting by maximum 5:25 or 5:27. By the time I'll just repeat it. If you have not renamed your profile on Zoom, please rename it by going to the participants list. There will be an option to rename it. Just rename your profile if your profile do not have your name. We are starting exactly in 5 minutes from now. Thank you.
Imagine you are doing no manual work. Imagine you are getting access to information 24/7. Imagine you are focusing only on the productive aspect of teaching. To make your imaginations come true, presenting Teach Us. It takes no time. A super amazing mobile app to help principals, professors, students, parents every minute, every hour, every day. Let's deep dive and check how. A professor can easily mark attendance, schedule the lectures, generate exam results, update completed syllabus, circulate notice to students, upload notes, give a 360-degree feedback to courses, class, subjects, library, event, non-teaching staff, etc. A student can view the attendance records, view scheduled lectures, get exam results, track daily syllabus, get notice and notes, give a 360-degree feedback to faculties, subjects, college, events, library, non-teaching staff, etc. A parent can monitor their kids on a regular basis. A college or a principal can access all the information from anywhere on a real-time basis. Everything with just a click. All these amazing features only in one app. Install it in only 3 steps: expert visit, agreement signing, installation and training. A real-time experience awaits you. Just call on 989-222-3453.
All right, so we are going live now. We are starting this event. So, all right, so we'll start. A very warm welcome to all the respected participants in our last webinar of this season. Myself, Jaimin Shah. I am co-founder and CEO of Teachers. We are a government of India recognized startup providing college intelligence application, or we can say college automation application to many colleges in India and even in other countries. So I hope you all are well and fine in this pandemic situation. So here we are at the last episode of our season 1, the industry post COVID-19. To start with, we have some amazing statistics of the entire season to share with you all. So in total, we had 6 episodes earlier, and this is our 7th one. And in all these 7 episodes, we've got more than 3,500 registrations in total, with more than 1,500 unique participants. The participants are from more than 700 different colleges of 100 plus universities from 23 different states of India. Even if you talk about today, we are hosting college authorities from more than 300 colleges of 70 different universities from 21 different states of India. These figures are really amazing, and it is a real inspiration to us. So yes, we welcome all our respected guests and participants to our finale of season 1 of our initiative, Let's Talk Education. To give brief idea about this initiative, Let's Talk Education is basically an initiative by teachers where we discuss on various burning aspects of education by bringing the best possible educationalists on the platform, and we try to make the most of it. This was the very first season of it, where we have conducted series of webinars on making strategies on how our industry could revive this post this pandemic COVID-19. We had really good speakers or personalities of education industry in our last 6 webinars, and you can get all the recordings on our YouTube channel if you want to watch all the other previous webinars. Now I would like to invite that man who inspired us to conduct this webinar or this sort of webinars. So Dr. Jitendra Ahirkar, principal of BL Amlani College, please come on the screen and share how do you look at this sort of initiative.
Thank you so much, Javin. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. It was one pleasant evening. I called you and I just thought we can do a webinar along with teachers. I was knowing that you will do it because we are using your LMS system also in the college. And my staff is very happy with teachers application too. So it just clicked in my mind, why can't we do a webinar with teachers application and with your LMS system? And on 27th April, we started with our first session with the BL Amlani College. And today is the finale. I was not witnessing all the webinars, but in the evening when I talk to some principals or talk to some teachers, they used to always say ki Javin ka acha tha. Javin ka bahut acha tha. This is the way people used to say. And I used to feel happy ki yes, something went good with Javin, chalo. So these words of motivation or these good praises, what teachers used to say from bottom of their heart. It's good. And one thing would I like to mention is in other webinars where just people put bunch of PDFs on the WhatsApp. If you are there, you are not there. People just get the certificates. Some teachers even told me in this way, we didn't got certificate because he didn't give us. But one thing I would like to appreciate of this webinar is, Javin, C2 is that these people are there and they are there at least for 50 minutes or 1 hour and then only issue certificates. So it is not like people just come and go walk off and then you get a certificate. So that much pain and hard work these boys are doing, hats off to them. And they are doing a very good job. And they had made a mark in Mumbai University colleges. Yes, this is sort of the webinar which we have to do. And the certificate itself shows that how much hard work they are doing with them, because it is truly amazing what work they are doing. Thank you so much. I hope this should not be a last finale season. You can start with the next season too, and we'll surely join you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. We have another principal with us. So now I would like to invite one of the most known faces of University of Mumbai, with whom we did our third webinar, Dr. Balakrishnan Kalkoti, principal of MB Mandlis College, and to share their thoughts about this initiative and how is he looking at this initiative. Kalkoti, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Jamie. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Jamie came to me, sir, we would like to organize one webinar with you with the theme, the college and the college institution, how the colleges should develop. Theme was good, so I immediately agreed. And I convinced our management also that we should go ahead with this. I had already seen his previous webinar, so I was very much looking forward for this. And the most important aspect of webinar, which is conducted by Jamie, is he takes up the issues related to education, institutions. The principals and vice principals and coordinators will look forward for his next announcement. That is the kind of the image Jamie had created. And now when we see that this is the last episode of the first season, we are feeling, oh, it is already getting over. So when I was having a chat with him, I just told him, Jamie, don't end it with only one season. You should have season after season after seasons. Not because of COVID-19 or otherwise. Whether there is COVID or we come out of that, we should have such interactive sessions on various burning issues in the field of education. So my request to you and all the participants is, don't attend or look forward for the webinars just for the heck of it. You should always look for what would you take home after attending webinars. How much have you upgraded your knowledge? And particularly in the webinars organized by Jamie, you get at least 3 to 4 points to take home to enrich your knowledge and wisdom. So I compliment Jamie and his team. I thank him for giving us an opportunity. I also urge him, like I said before, don't stop it with only season 1. Take a small break. Everybody needs a break. But immediately after the break, I would really want you to take up some other burning issues and come out with the second season as early as possible. All the best.
All right. Thank you so much, Jitendra sir and Kalkoti sir, for your kind words. So now let's flag off this event, and now let me invite Father Dr. Kate D'Souza, who is the rector of St. Xavier's College, to flag off today's webinar. D'Souza, sir.
Pardon?
So I guess Rajendra sir, I guess D'Souza sir is not able to connect probably. I'll just check it out once.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Ask him to, no, you need to unmute him.
I guess sir is not there on the list.
No, he's there. He's telling me to unmute him. Keith D'Souza, Keith.
I cannot find his name. Just a moment. Can you please ask him what is the exact name, what is the exact profile name that he has right now? Okay, I got him. I got him now.
Okay, yeah.
Done.
Just tell him again.
Yes, it's done, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, thank you. First of all, since we are supposed to be co-hosts, apologies to everybody because we started a little late. I believe there was some meeting in the university, so that's why it got delayed. I was thinking about this whole scenario from the point of view of three of our main values in our institution. One value is on professional innovation, the second is on personal integration, and the third is on social inclusion. So these present both opportunities as well as challenges. With regard to innovation, I think one very beautiful opportunity is that education has become extramural. Very often, students, when they join an institution, the world instead of becoming bigger, sometimes it becomes small, associated with a small club, educational club. But I think what we are experiencing globally is that the whole of education has become extramural. It is outward oriented. There's a sense of connection with a larger world. We belong to a larger educational community. And I think that's something very beautiful. Another development and opportunity is a democratization of education. And I think we should really grab this opportunity and make education more accessible to vast areas, peoples otherwise who do not get opportunities to be educated. Here we have a chance to be open to the best minds of the world. In terms of integration, here there's more of a challenge. How do we construct a cyber ethics which is associated with educational practice? That means how do we redefine intellectual property rights? Because there's a lot of flow of information, and I suppose a lot of violation of what we normally understand as intellectual property rights. How do we redefine that? How do we ensure intellectual integrity in assignments? Not just plagiarism, but how do you make sure that there's no copying? How are exams to be proctored, etc.? So there's a challenge here with regard to integration, cyber ethics. And finally, the challenge also is how do you make education more socially inclusive? How do we not leave anybody behind? Whether they have some, whatever disadvantages there, whatever social disadvantages there, how do we, some may not have easy access to the internet. How can we make education, how can we provide material that is both online as well as offline available? And finally, how can we make our education more socially productive? Very often we have a very sort of a myopic understanding of education. How do you make it socially productive and socially beneficial? So I wish you all the best in this important venture. And from our college, I do hope that we get good ideas to foster these three values of innovation, integration, and inclusion. Thank you to the hosts to teach us, and all the best for you. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir, for flagging off this particular event. This is, for us, this is a mega event, a grand event. So now it's time to introduce all our speakers who actually do not need any sort of introduction. So, well, this webinar is really one of its kind, where 4 best-in-class speakers from 4 different corners of the country coming on the same platform to discuss on the role of principals and future of education. For us, this is really an amazing experience. It will be a really amazing experience. So for our first speaker is Father Felix Raj, who is at present Vice Chancellor of St. Xavier's University in Kolkata, which secured NAC rating of 3.77 out of 4 in the year 2017 when it was still a college. This was done under Sir's leadership. Father graduated with economics from Loyola College, Chennai, and completed his master's in economics from St. Joseph's College, Trichy, where he also secured the first rank and was awarded gold medal. He joined as an economic faculty in St. Xavier's College, Kolkata in 1989, where he served for 33 years initially as a professor, then vice principal, then rector, then principal, and now Vice Chancellor of the university. Sir has numerous awards and publication on his name, including Banga Bhushan and Shiksha Ratna Award from the government of West Bengal. So our second speaker today is Professor John Varghese, who is at present the principal of St. Stephen's College, Delhi. The college which stands fourth in the best college category, the ranking given by NIRF. Also, St. Stephen's College has always been seen and ranked as country's one of the best colleges to study. Before Sir pursued his doctorate in English literature, he did his bachelor's and master's in English literature, both from Loyola College, Chennai. Sir has vast experience in teaching English literature as well as communication and journalism in colleges of India and outside India as well. Before Sir joined St. Stephen's College in 2017, he was associated with EFL University of Hyderabad, where he ended as a deputy dean. Sir has also a large number of books and research papers on his name. So now our third speaker. Third speaker of the day is Dr. Lalitha Balakrishnan, the principal of MOP Vaishnav College for Women from Chennai. The college has been awarded as A++ grade with CGPA of 3.56 out of 4-point scale by NAC. The college is one of the most known women's college in India, which is in Chennai. Being a member of Syndicate of University of Madras, she has been invited by the US Department of State to visit the USA under the prestigious International Visitors Leadership Program. She has traveled widely in many countries and forged collaboration with universities like Stanford, Harvard, Yale in the USA, and many universities in Sydney, UK, and Vancouver as well. To her credit, she won Eminent Women Achiever Award, Leadership Excellence Award, and For the Sake of Honor Award, which is the highest award given to the Rotary Club to any individual. Our fourth and last speaker for today is Dr. Vijay Doshi, who is currently a chief consultant at RUSA, Maharashtra, and also worked as joint director in charge at RUSA. Before Sir joined RUSA, he has played various roles close to the Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, contributing to many higher education policies, and he was also a principal of KJ Somaiya College, which is Mumbai's one of the most known institution and now a university. Under his leadership, the college bagged the most best college award by University of Mumbai under urban category, and also college with potential of excellence award by UGC. Dr. Doshi by himself is an academician, an able academic administrator, and unassuming creative person. So yes, these are the four speakers we have today, probably the best that anyone could get on a single platform. So now, for the last time in this season, I'll take the onus of explaining why we have selected this particular topic. So in the wake of COVID-19, working of every single industry will change, and education industry is no exception. So with this reason, we have conducted we have covered almost all the stakeholders of the industry in our previous webinars, except principals. And they are the one going to be the flag bearer of innovation post this pandemic. So from changing the mode of teaching, to changing the criteria of new recruitment, to training the existing faculties, to making the students ready for the newest challenges in the job market, or maybe restoring the confidence of parents, the educational leadership needs innovation and newest approach to lead the institution from front. All the stakeholders will be looking towards the leadership to show the way forward, and if the leadership is afraid of change, the institution may fall. So here is the topic: changing role of principals and one of the best educational leaders, to give the path ahead on how and to what extent the leadership will have to change to match the requirements and to lead from the front. So now I would like to request or invite Professor John Varghese to start the conversation or start the webinar. Professor John.
Thank you, Jamin. Good evening, my respected colleagues on the platform, Dr. Lalitha Balakrishnan, Dr. Vijay Doshi, and Father Felix Raj. Also, good evening to all of you, my respected and dear colleagues, principals and vice principals from across the country. The topic that we are going to talk about, the four of us, is the changing role of principals. I think the role of a principal has not really changed. The role of a principal continues to remain important and relevant. However, what has changed, in my opinion, is the manner in which she or he functions. And especially with COVID-19 here, and I think it is here to stay for a long time, as principals and vice principals, we can no longer be seen as a figure or a figurehead at the top of a hierarchy, issuing orders and isolating ourselves in an ivory tower. Today, I think a principal is more of a facilitator, mentoring colleagues, guiding students, and an active participant in the whole education process. The principal is also an important link between the affiliating university and the college. And in the case of especially autonomous institutions, the principal is a dynamic and forward-looking administrator. So in all, these are 4 points that I would like to talk about. The principal as a mentor, the principal as a participant in the teaching, learning, education process. Number 3, the principal as an intermediary between the affiliating university and the college. And lastly, the principal as the head and as a visionary. If I come to the first point of the principal as a mentor, gone are the days when the principal was isolated and kept herself or himself apart from the other faculty. And this was most exemplified in a special room being allotted to the principal or the vice principal, and all the other faculty members coming together in a common staff room. Today, the gap between the principal and the other members of the faculty has reduced. And the principal must be seen as a mentor who is helping her or his younger colleagues become better at what they do. To be successful and effective in this, the principal must first of all be a good listener and an observer. And this means that she or he cannot any longer isolate herself or himself from the other members of the teaching staff. He or she has to mingle, spend time, and understand each and every colleague, not only as a professional teacher, but also, importantly, as a human being. The advantages of such a close and better understanding helps the principal also to take better decisions. whether they are professional decisions like, for example, which subject is the teacher best suited to teach, or which course is the teacher better equipped to teach, or if it is personal decisions like, should I grant long leave to this colleague, or should I grant permission for this teacher colleague to take special makeup classes. All of this can be better decided if the principal understands the colleague in a wholesome manner. Of course, rules are there, and when a principal understands the colleague in this comprehensive manner, the decision is very often the best decision that can be taken. I know one principal who actually discusses matters pertaining to a particular person with the person, and then together with the person takes the decision. In this situation, it makes the decision a very good one. I can give an example of when a principal was approached by a teaching faculty who wanted to go on long leave in the middle of the semester. But after discussing with the faculty member, both the principal and the teacher realized that perhaps it was best if the teacher left on long leave towards the end of the semester. And so what happened? The teacher left towards the end of the semester, and there was better understanding between them, no misunderstanding. Everybody got what they wanted. It was well within the principal's right to refuse outright that long leave and say, no, you cannot go. But that would have created a lot of unhappiness, rancor within the teacher. But because the principal chose to understand the situation, to discuss the situation, the decision which was taken turned out to be a happy and successful decision. My second point is how the principal today must be a participant in the teaching learning process. In the sense, she or he cannot any longer pronounce diktats, order the teachers, you must do this, this is how you do this, this is how you should undertake your classes. That doesn't work any longer. The process should be a participatory one. I know a principal who has spent time with a younger colleague and who took this very innovative decision that he will co-teach a course which this young colleague is offering. He didn't have to, but he chose to co-teach that course. And because of which there were benefits to both persons. The principal understood and got to use new technologies. In fact, he learned how to use WhatsApp and use it to distribute questions in the classroom. And for the young colleague who shared the teaching with the principal, who was a senior person, veteran, the young person got to know standard and time-tested methodologies which proved as successful methodologies in the classroom. I've had the privilege of being able to teach both at a university and now at a college. But I think at a college, the chances for a closer interaction between the teaching faculty, between colleagues, is much more than it is at a university. At a university, we tend to think and work in silos, compartmentalized. But in a college, we are able to align ourselves and relate ourselves to each other in a much more effective manner. So my second point, which I'd like to say, is that the principal should participate in the learning and teaching process. The principal can go even to the extent of dismantling certain barriers which traditionally existed between the principal and other teachers. I would even say the principal should take the time to invite a couple of colleagues or a young colleague and chat with him or her over a cup of tea. And that chat should not be just a waste of time. It should be a very purposeful conversation. The conversation could revolve perhaps about academics, but it need not be. It can also be about what the younger colleague is interested in, about a project which is perhaps not working very well in college, or it could even be about a project which is working extremely well in college, or it could even be about a refresher course that the young colleague will benefit from. If the principal or the vice principal spends a little time thinking about the colleagues who work with her or him, there will be much to be gained. And in this reference, let me also tell you a very important resource that all principals have. And this is the personal file. When you go through the personal file of our colleagues, you will find out that they have many capabilities and talents, that they have special skills. Each one of us should make use of this as an opportunity to encourage that colleague to develop and share that special skill. My third point is that the principal should serve as a bridge between the affiliating university and the college itself. Very often, it is important for colleagues to interact, either to send a project or a requisition letter or a formal note or a notice to the affiliating university. And I have seen that many colleagues are not really equipped to do this. They do not know whom to address. They do not know how to address. They do not know what the format is. And this is where a good principal can serve as a good guide for the young colleague, helping her or him to learn the tricks of the trade. The principal has a unique opportunity because he or she is aware of whom the project report or the letter or the notice needs to go to at the university. And he or she, as principal, can help the younger colleague address the project or the letter in a manner which is appropriate. So the higher agency could be the university, it could be the UGC, it could be the NAC, it could be the ministry. But in all of this, the guiding hand of a sensible principal can make a very big difference. I go back to the time when I was at Hyderabad, and the Vice Chancellor that I worked with used to give me a lot of responsibilities. Initially, I was very, very anxious because there were so many responsibilities, handling the ministry, handling the UGC, visiting dignitaries, preparing handbooks. All of these were responsibilities which were thrust on me. But what happened was, in all of these, there was a gentle guidance because of which I became familiar with what the processes were. And now I am, by the grace of God, quite comfortable in dealing with all of these protocols. So, a principal must improve the quality of the work that is being done in the college through its teaching and non-teaching staff. By doing that, the principal is not only helping the college staff, but the principal is also helping the college. Because as we all know, when official documents go out of college, they represent not only the person who is creating or writing that document, it represents the institution itself. So it is in the interest of everyone that the document is well executed. My last point is a very important one. In fact, I think it is the most important aspect for any principal. My earlier 3 points, being a mentor, being a participatory learner, teacher, and being a good bridge and a guide for teachers with higher authorities, all of that are important, no doubt. But this one, what I'm going to talk about, is perhaps the most important one. The principal is expected to be a visionary. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't think that visionaries are very special people, a very rare breed, unique. It's very difficult to be a visionary. Not at all. All of us are visionaries. We may choose to accept that. We may choose to ignore that. But if we choose to ignore that, we do it at a great risk to ourselves and a great risk to the institutions which have placed their trust in each one of us. I would like to refer back to a parable in the Bible where Jesus talks about a master who is going away, and he calls 3 servants, and he gives each of those servants some money, some gold coins. And he gives the first servant a single gold coin, and he gives the second servant 3 gold coins, and he gives the third servant 5 gold coins. And then he says, take care of it, do your best, and he goes away on a long journey. When he comes back and it is reporting time for the servants, he calls the servants, and the third servant who received 5 gold coins, he gives to the master 10 gold coins. And he tells my master, I have worked and I have earned 5 more coins. And the master is very happy. He pats him on the back and he says, very good. You are a very efficient person. I'm going to make you in charge of great things in my household. And so the second servant is called, the one who had 3 gold coins given to him. And he comes and he tells the master, oh, master, I have earned 3 more coins. And the master is very happy. And he says, you are a good and responsible person. I'm going to put you in charge of many things. And then the third servant comes in and he says, I return to you what you have given me. And the master is very shocked and surprised. And he says, have you not done anything with it? And the servant says, no, I have not done anything with it. And the master is very disappointed. He says, I'm so disappointed with you. I don't think I can have any use for you. And he so dismisses the servant from his household. Now, each one of us, without exception, we are servants. And I use that word deliberately because we are called to serve. Each one of us has within us several talents, several capabilities, several abilities. If we are in the position that we hold today, whatever that position may be, vice principal, dean, head of the department, principal, it is because somebody somewhere noticed a talent, a capability, or an ability in us. And if we don't do what we are supposed to do, we are betraying a trust which was placed in us. What is a vision? A vision is the ability to think positive, to think for the future and lead the institution ahead. And when we lead this institution ahead, we should, as far as possible, try to keep the ego out of it. All of us have talents. What are we going to do with the talents that we have been given? A time will come when we will have to report. It could be your annual board or management meeting. It could be the annual report which is prepared and presented and circulated. But there is also another reporting which happens. And that reporting happens to each of our consciences. We have a conscience, and we know if we have done justice to our capabilities and the abilities and the trust which has been placed in us. Each one of us must be a visionary leader. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John sir. I guess your example of 3 servant will have a long-lasting impact to everyone. Now I would like to invite Lalitha madam to continue with her speech. Lalitha madam. I am already on unmute mode. Hello. Just a moment. Just a moment.
Yep.
Yeah, done.
Done? Yeah, okay. A very good evening to all of you. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm very happy to be part of this elite panel. I thank the principal of St. Xavier's College, Professor Shinde, for this lovely opportunity to put me on such an esteemed panel. I am truly honored to be on this panel today. I am deeply impressed with the views expressed by the first speaker. I would, of course, like to dwell on the changing role of the principal in the current scenario. He very rightly said that all roles are evolving and a lot of change happens in all the roles. But at this present time, I feel there is something special which a principal as a leader of an educational institution has to do. I would like to put the 6 R's in place here and let us go one by one. The first is a college which is autonomous should take up the responsibility of restructuring the curriculum, and the principal has a major role to play in that. So when we restructure the curriculum, we should take into account the UGC guidelines, which says that 25% of the courses can be online imparted to the students. And so that would be a great thing to do for all autonomous colleges. If you, however, belong to the affiliation stream, then how can you restructure the syllabus? You are part of the academic council of the university. And therefore, what you can do in that is you can put forth your ideas, and the Board of Studies will bring up the various matters that are required, and the syllabi can be restructured. So this will give a new way of learning, which is both conducive to the current situation, as well as part of the learning is imparted when you're at home itself, and the rest of it can be in classes which are structured in such a way that there is social distancing maintained, which is the requirement currently. The second R, which I would like to emphasize upon, is to reinvent teaching methods. Now, the teachers have also to be trained. There are two ways in which we can do this, because we now need to have the hybrid model to be adopted. What is this hybrid model? There should be both online teaching as well as clubbed with offline teaching. So in order to bring in this hybrid model, I think all the teachers have to be first equipped with how they can do this, how they can practice both online teaching as well as offline teaching. They are used to being there, physically present in the class, and they may be very adept at bringing forth their lectures, their PPTs and everything. But how do they switch on to the online mode where they do not really have a set or a class in front of them? They have to have the students logging in. They don't have any physical contact being established with the students. So how does the teacher equip herself to handle such circumstances? There should be some training sessions offered to the teachers there. There are also courses which are offered online, the MOOCs program, the Udemy program, and Coursera and all that. While some of the courses which we plan to give online to our students can be through our own teachers equipping themselves and handling the courses, there could be some courses which are also we can advise our students to take up these courses online. For example, at MOP Vaishnav College, we have the elective subjects introduced in the third semester. Already the departments are working on courses which can be customized, and the students can all choose the same course and enroll for them. So this is another exciting opportunity for students to do an online course under the Coursera or Udemy. At the same time, they fulfill their credit requirements as well. So this is what I call reinventing teaching methodologies. The third R is for my other stakeholders who are very important, the parents. Restoring confidence in the parents is very, very important. Now, parents, when even if students are coming to college, they do have a role to play, and they would like to know what their wards are learning and how they are equipping themselves for the future, be it for higher studies, be it for self-employment, or be it for engaging themselves in useful employment. So now with this current scenario where they think the colleges have been shut down for a while, though for a very good reason, they would be wondering how their wards are going to equip themselves once the college reopens. So in order to restore the confidence in the parents, I think we need to have sessions with the parents. Again, I would like to quote my college example here. We have a wonderful club in our college, which is called the Moms Club of MOP. The MOM stands for Mothers of MOP Students. In fact, jocularly, the fathers have asked me, Madam, why is it that you're only calling the mothers all the while? Why not the fathers sometime too? But being an all-women's college and women's empowerment being the main force in our college, we have stuck to the moms. Probably we would think of including the dads as well when they have shown so much of interest. So when we do have these meetings, these could be online meetings now because of the current scenario. We would have discussion forums with the mothers and make sure that they also understand the need for their wards to equip themselves by enrolling for online courses and doing such things which would also make them fully occupied while they are at home. And they will also be able to understand that once we have any mode of having a physical class, we would definitely do that, and then they would carry work home. Because even when we start physical classes, I'm sure it's not going to be 5 days a week and continuously. So they will then have the opportunity to have some classes and then some takeaway for the home. And the confidence, I'm sure, will be restored in the parents, which is our ultimate aim. The next thing I would like to talk about is rekindling the interest in the students. The students are my most important stakeholders. And having been at home and on their own, they would have probably lost touch with the actual education system in force. Therefore, we need to find for them newer methods of learning so that their interest and enthusiasm is rekindled. Give them different types of testing mechanisms, give them more exciting forms of, say, an online quiz at a fixed time in the morning, so that they are able to, keep their interest alive in the subject, keep their interest alive in what's going on around them, because a quiz could not only relate to the subject, it could also relate to the general matters around them. So they are abreast with what is happening around them, and they are fully enthused about what they are going to learn. The another thing which is very, very important, and which Jaimin had also pointed out in our earlier discussions, is the need for the industry institute interface. So the industry institute interface in the new normal situation, what are the different types of skills that are going to be required by the students, is very, very important to assess. And here I would like to bring in my fifth R, which is reskilling and upscaling. So we do have certain skills given to the students, and they definitely know their 3 Rs of reading, writing, arithmetic. They definitely know their soft skills and their life skills. But what other skills, like, say, the newer digital skills, the digitization process and handling of the various digital techniques would have to be given to them. What the industry now expects in the current scenario will have to be studied so that they can reskill and upscale. The last R I would like to bring about is again a very, very important R, and that is the rural and semi-urban areas which also have colleges. We are not restricting ourselves to the city. The panelists today, we may be from Chennai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, and Delhi, but that is not the whole of India. India lives mostly in its villages, and today there are registrations for this webinar from 21 states. And all of those states are not equally equipped with whatever we need to. Thanks to the Prime Minister's Digitize India campaign, the internet has spread far and wide. But yet, what is the affordability of the students in the rural areas? And what is the connectivity and accessibility of the internet in those areas? If we are going to go more of online classes, if you are going to give more on a digital platform, how equipped will they be? And it also transfers a burden of investment to the parents, because in a college we have, say, 500 computers for so many students, then all of them have access to that. But when it has to be each individual to her own system or smartphone, how many of them are going to be able to afford that? I think the inclusion part, which the rector mentioned in his opening speech, comes in very handy here. And that is again one aspect we all need to consider. So these are the points I would like to place before you. Definitely the role is changing. A role of a parent, a role of a student is also changing and evolving. Definitely the role of the principal is changing. And in this time of difficulty, when there is a pandemic, there is a lot more that he or she has to visualize and make sure that they are all comfortable in doing what they do. They all benefit. They all have come to the college or the institution with a purpose, and they leave with that purpose being accomplished. Definitely the roles are changing, and I'm sure they will be doing it very well. I'm hoping that you have all been able to benefit from what I have been able to tell you. And any questions at the end of the session, I'm most willing to take. Thank you once again for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much, Lalitha madam. I now would like to request Dr. Vijay Doshi to come up and share his experience plus his thoughts and maybe his vision of how a principal could lead the entire fraternity. Vijay sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamin. And good evening. In the virtual space, there are huge stalwarts who have gathered here to discuss about the changing role of principal. And very eloquently, my earlier speakers have mentioned, they are seasoned speakers, so they have eloquently mentioned about how the role is changing of a principal. I think I have been briefed by Jamin, and I was very carefully reading what he expects from me. And I am going to revolve around the industry post-COVID changing role of principal. Because naturally, principal roles have changed a lot, and you have listened to this earlier speaker, how it has changed. Jamin, if you permit, I have put up a small presentation of 4 or 5 slides. If you allow me, can I share that?
Please, sir, why not? Why not?
So I think the name of my presentation, which I have kept a very small presentation, Leadership in the Crucible of Crisis. The pandemic will be changing everything around us. There will be an unprecedented change which will happen. The crisis can be a turning point for the humanity, and what are our options? What we decide today is going to decide the future of the humanity. We are trying to make sense of it. So we have come together on this wonderful platform, and we are discussing, we are exchanging thoughts, we are talking to each other, speaking to each other, learning from each other experiences. And I think this is a wonderful platform of Let's Talk Education platform. But this is not a first pandemic. Humanity has faced a pandemic, and in 20th century, humanity has faced 9 pandemics, right from swine flu, H1, every pandemic humanity has faced. And I think human spirit is unthinkable. We have surmounted all those pandemics. Since it is talking something about a leadership, I think we need to understand how the global leadership today is reacting to this pandemic. Unfortunately, in earlier pandemic, there was a solidarity in the leadership. But today, if you see the leadership, we are witnessing in this pandemic, the leadership, the world leadership, their motto is me first. They lack solidarity, they lack trust. And I think we need to understand this pandemic has the change whole the world and the leadership of the world. What was the Indian response? Indian response was very, very categorical. The Indian response was very sharp, quick. Indian response was very, very calibrated. And now we have decided that we have to live with the corona. And if we have to live with this virus, I think we'll have to change the way we do business in the educational institution. And this has also got an impact of our students, the entire society. And what is that in fact? The infodemic has made a fear psychosis all over. There is a hatred, there is a greed, there is an ignorance. We have seen the exodus of migrant laborers. We have seen the attack on health workers. We have seen various things which I think what brings pain to us. Recently, Gulzar Saab has written a wonderful poem. He writes, "Marenge to wahi jaakar jahan par zindagi hai." There is a stigma attached to discrimination. And And in a contrast, we have seen extreme compassion helping people each other. Now, this is the society from where our students are going to come. And how this pandemic is going to see, I think no futurologist or no health worker or no one who is in this scenario, epidemiologists, they are telling us there can be three very clear scenarios. The first is single short wave, where campus will open for the face-to-face delivery. The second will be very, very long wave, where we could not able to open the campus and all our education will be online. And the third scenario is multiple peaks of waves. And I think there we'll have to open the campus, again close the campus, again go online. So I think we have to respond this kind of a different kind of a scenario. And the Denmark, Japan, Taiwan, they have responded to this scenario. Their schools are open now. They're dealing with this virus and they're living with this virus. And I love to take certain lessons from these countries, the way they are dealing with this virus. And an important question, the leadership, how they are dealing with this virus. So the leadership, this is the question which has been asked, how the leadership is going to change and how the academic leadership is became. I think we'll have to create a new organizational structure. In this new organizational structure, because we are going to respond to an uncertainty. We are going to respond to time, every time if there is a resurgence of the virus, we need to take call every moment, every minute. So I think we'll have to change from a standardized hierarchical response, which is inflexible, to a distributed open source leadership, where every member of our team is empowered to become a leader in spite of hierarchy. Even he can change the hierarchical level and cross the level and take certain decisions. He's well informed what he's expected to do. This network of crisis managers will have to deploy at every place. And these crisis managers, which are empowered, which are autonomous, taking decision every now and then. Or the youngest member of the lot can take decisions on technology and train our senior faculty about how to use the technology. I think this distributed participating kind of leadership, all principles, generally they follow. But we have changed this open source leadership where the access to the leader, where this leader and follower binary will go. And I think we have a distributed kind of a leadership where a network centers which will keep on checking the havoc which is happening all around us. And I think we have this standardization or the protocols which we have set protocols, which are almost like an algorithms, inflexible algorithms, we need to change because we are responding to something which is ever changing. I think we need to, the speed of a response is important than the agility. The agility of response is important than the elegance of response. So I think we need to empower this kind of a leaders all around us. If you ask me, there will be huge change in the policies. The campus norms will change. Work from home guidelines will have to take. We'll have to have a flexible work option guidelines. We need to have the campus visitor screening protocol, deep cleaning protocol, course planning and design protocol, credit transfer, the way they will happen. The people, if they learn outside, what will happen to them? I think we'll have to take care of all this different kind of a protocol if we open our campuses. And I think it will be tremendous change, and innovation is a key to all these changes which are going to happen. I was looking to the various protocols which have been formulated by the countries where people have started their campuses. And if they have started their campuses, I think that there are centers controlling this pandemic. They have given them certain protocols which they are going to employ. And these protocols, I think, are very, very important. The third point, with a scarce resource which we have to take decision, because I think every decision in academics, every decision runs with a snail space. Any change in academic happens with a glacial space. But because of this pandemic, the pace of a change has increased so much that almost everybody has started teaching online. Now they are using online. It's good. All my colleagues are trying to help students going online. A platform like this, they are communicating with them, they are teaching their lessons. But while going online, all universities in Maharashtra have now decided that we need to take 30% of our total courses online. Now, if that is going to stay, I think we'll have to take certain technology decisions. And a technology is always a trap. If you go with a certain hardware, that becomes a trap for you. So we too should be very diligent in taking decisions on the technology. I think people are trying to understand whether to use Skype, whether to use Microsoft Teams, whether Zoom is safe. And I think people have huge options. And I'm going to give certain suggestions in order to have this change when we implement these technologies. We have to have a very comprehensive approach, where everybody on a same line, everybody is not using different kind of a technology. Somebody uses Google Classroom, some other people uses something else. I think that will go, because we have to register students. All students should be registered on one platform. I know many of the colleges like Xavier's, they have integrated Moodle into it, and people are using Moodle as a platform. But if they are using as a platform, I think the delivery and tracking mechanism also will be changed, which should be similar, that all teachers should have the same technology which is implemented into the organization. We have to take decisions about hardware. We have to take decisions about software, whether to go with Google or Microsoft, whether we have to create a virtual learning environment, or whether we go with this learning management system, whether we use varied platforms, or whether we are. But my suggestion to you all is, I think gone are the days we have missed the bus of e-learning. Now we'll have to reach M-coaching. Because Madam has rightly pointed out that good in the cities, we have huge connectivity, but what will happen to the students in urban area? I think we'll have to find certain solution to reach to them. And mind well, online teaching means not recording all your lectures and putting it on YouTube. It's an art, and you have to design certain process, because we are constructing an experience for a student. So this decision are very, very critical. And in this pandemic, the educational leader, having a very scarce resource, will have to take this decision, and we have to avoid the technology trap. And before taking this decision, I will advise that there is a quick tech guide. Stephen Doman has given a list of tools, list of free tools. Please visit his site. It's just a Google Doc. And he is giving you how to publish ebook, which kind of a platform can be used. And he has exhaustive lists about whole tools which are available free of cost, without credit card, and can be incorporated into the larger audience. Please look at it. Please see the Open Online Education by Google. They have come up with certain tools. Please see Office 365 Education by Microsoft. But this is not important. This is a technical part of it. The most important part of it, the philosophy of online teaching. I will advise to look at Tony Bates, who is a master in a distance education, and very clearly has given advice to all teachers across the world who want to go online. The advice is very critical. He says that media rich is not mind rich. You cannot keep on giving media, giving audio, and that will become effective. He says that there should not be a redundancy. And I think it's very, very good to read that. And I think I request all of you to see the Tony Bates advice. Donald Clark is a technocrat who keeps on talking about integrating technology in education. He has written one blog, tons of tools and 10 things to do. Very, very lucid, very simple, so that every teacher can take advice, take insight from this particular advice and go further. I will also advise to see the mooktalk.org. This is .org, sorry, there is a comma in my presentation. This is a key course design principles by Kelvin Devlin. Now he's a Stanford professor, and he has 10 series how to design a MOOC and how to design online teaching learning. Because all the leaders, academic leaders, will have to decide what kind of a hardware we are going to use, what kind of a software we are going to use, and how we are going to use software so that it becomes effective. So I think, and Madam has mentioned the training to the teacher, capacity building of a tool which we select becomes a very, very paramount important for a leader to decide. She mentioned what will happen to the rural area. And I was trying to find out those who started the campuses across the world, what they are doing. They are subsidizing the data packages, buying the data packages collectively and giving it to the students who are least fortunate. They are bridging this digital divide by MiFi hotspot devices and giving them devices on rent, a very nominal rent, so that the device comes back. They are using more Chromebooks instead of computers. There is a national cloud platform, and I think we have heard our finance minister. I think all platforms, the NPTEL and all other platforms will get integrated. And we have a shiksha.com, which will be a common national cloud platform. So they're using this kind of a platform. Some people have gone, because the students can use a mobile, they have gone so further that they are giving the courseware packages on an SD card, so that they can put the SD card in a computer, in the mobile, and they can browse the course which is given to them. So I think we'll have to have a different kind of out-of-box solution in order to help our students, so that our leadership will take care of all the students which are around us, whether they are less fortunate or whether they are fortunate. Now the campuses across has got an entirely new behavior pattern, new campus behavior pattern. We have to look at staggering times. Some classes will start early. So we have to look at rotate in-person attendance. It means if the class is of 60, 30 students, they will see it online, 30 students will come to the class, and social distancing is maintained. And then this rotation happens, they will get a chance to listen to next lecture, and then half of the students who were in the class will be listening next lecture online. You have to extend the rooms, because you know in Mumbai and all other cities, you will have a space crunch, because I think our campuses are small. So we'll have to think of starting a night program for certain classes. People have put a plastic tabletop partition in front of a student, so that I think the sneezing can be stopped. There are physical barriers. People have designed, so the entire campus we need to design in such a manner that there is a one-way foot traffic, so that they go in one direction and crowding is avoided. And I think these are unprecedented changes, which I think every leader will have to do, and will have to keep on changing the educational spaces, learning spaces, which we have created, so that we can accommodate more and more face-to-face kind of a interaction. We have to be vulnerable. Many times we take things for granted. Now in this pandemic, our priority is well-being of the student. And I can give you an example. In order to raise awareness, one of the university has made every student to see a Coursera course, Science Matter, Let's Talk About COVID-19. We'll have to create this kind of an atmosphere, so that that infodemic, which has created fear in minds of our students, they get benefit out of these kind of courses. Zero tolerance for anything which is unavoidable. I think we need to have a zero tolerance when it comes to well-being of the students. We need to follow a public health protocol, and we can adopt the mobile app, which is a Setu app, which has been created. Of course, the temperature gauging, all other deep cleaning of our campuses, all other will come, distancing, all will come, but we require a mental health specialist, at least on call, so that he can keep on giving advice, because we will find the students will come to certain notions with, I think, they will require this kind of a help. Very important part is how leader communicate to all the stakeholders around him. The communication of a leader is a key in this crisis. And we have seen the communication crisis in our country. Changing protocols, we have seen how the chaos has been created because of a misinformation, which is all around us. And I think in order to avoid this chaos in our campuses, we have to craft the message and we have to deliver it centrally. Very clearly, the message is about a complexity, but in a very simple terms. We have to align to a government emergency policy in that message. Not too much, not too little. Because if it is too much, it will create fear. If it is too little, it will create chaos. So very, very specific messaging. And we need to use a multiple channels to communicate varied stakeholders. I think if we want to connect to the students, there can be multiple channels. We need to use email, social messaging, all the channels which are available to us, which are suiting to them. I think for teachers, email is okay, but for students, I think the social messaging will be great help. Consider the stakeholder preference while we are deciding which tool to communicate, because this communication is very, very important for a leader. Cooperation. I think we always have we have seen the world leader not cooperating with each other. They are divided, they are segregated. But then conversely, all science faculty, those who are doing research, leaders in research, leaders in health industry, they are exchanging notes. And it has every time happened in the entire world. The educational leadership have to have a constructive engagement with other organizations, where the information sharing happens and where extreme cooperation happen, so that we can pool our resources, we can do things together, so that we can create the whole sort of a community around us. This is very, very paramount important, the cooperation of the leader. And in a crisis, principle is perseverance, principle is resilience, principle is innovative, principle will navigate through the crisis, principle has to be very compassionate, he has to be inclusive, he needs to see a predictive analysis of a data which is coming to him, and he has to adapt. He has to be very agile in adapting to the entire data which is coming to, and then liberal. So let us change the way we look at our leadership, and let us go for an open source distributed leadership, which will help to all our communities and help to open our campuses. We are very eager to see our students, and I think we'll have to take a lot of pain in order to get these students on board. The test of the leader is how well you function in crisis. And here is a crisis where I think every leader has to respond in a manner in which our students are benefited. We have done it in the past, we will be doing it this time as well. The Indian psyche is different. The question is, if you open the campuses, whether the parents will send their students to our colleges. This is a question. I think we'll have to create an atmosphere where a security and safety of a student is maintained, and we can have the entire face-to-face or online kind of an education which is required in this 21st century. Because I think we owe this to our student. These are my few thoughts, which I thought in a 20 minutes very quickly, because I have taken an assistance of a few slides so that I can cram all my thoughts in 20 minutes, which has been told to me. Thank you so much for a patient hearing. Here is, I have been giving certain links, And here is a wonderful link of a Center for Disease Control. And they have given us several protocols in order to open the campuses. A wonderful link. I wish every my principal colleague will help, will go through it. There are certain documents which I have curated in this 2-3 days time, which is very little time, which was at my disposal. I have curated certain documents from all over the world so that how entire world is responding to this new paradigm shift for opening these campuses in fall semester. I will be more than happy to share all my things which I have gathered. Thank you very much for patient listening or patient hearing. I am not illustrious as my earlier speaker and the speaker who is going to speak after me. I thought I must limit myself to Mr. Shaha's brief, where how in this pandemic, because the series name is how the industry is going to change in the pandemic. So I restricted my leadership thought to this particular pandemic only. I have not talked anything which is very philosophical, but very practical so that things can be implemented in our campuses. We wish to see and eager to see our students coming back to us. And I think in a first inaugural discourse, it has been told that we are now universalizing. I think we are moving out and we are taking information from all sides. Let them study from TED, let them study from everywhere, but let them compassionately come to us so that we give this direction for their future life. Thank you very much for giving me the chance. Dr. Shinde, thank you very much for giving me this chance to speak about the leadership. Mr. Shah, I'm going to talk to you whether I am up to brief, and all my panelists, I hope I have not gone out of board in terms of time. Thank you very much.
I can
see give more time to sir. If you want.
I can really see how you are chief consultant of RUSA. I mean, it was too damn accurate and insightful from you, sir. There is some bad news for us. Unfortunately, Father Felix Raj, Vice Chancellor of St. Xavier's University, Kolkata, is not going to join us because of the situations over there. And right now, there is no internet connectivity over there at Kolkata. So, Father is not going to join us. But at the same time, we have a quick resource person with us on the panel as well, who is actually not the panelist, but now I'm making him a panelist. So I would really love to listen something from Rajendra sir, who is also a leader of one of the Pinnacle Institute of India, St. Xavier's College, Mumbai. So Rajendra sir, if you can speak on your philosophy of leading and how you are going to cope with this situation in future.
Thank you, Jaimin. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you for pushing me in this night watchman's role. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for your overwhelming response to this webinar organized by our college, St. Xavier's College, on the theme of changing role of principal. Your presence, even after the delay of 30 minutes here, shows your seriousness, and probably you too agree with us that there will be a change in post-COVID-19, the new normal. In fact, I heard somebody saying that as we used to say AC and DC, BC and AD, it will be now post-COVID, PC, and after COVID, AC. So new terminologies would be initiated. I personally feel, and I fully agree with Professor John Varghese, that there is no change in the domain role of the principal. The domain role, that is, daily routine admissions and timetable, all those kinds of things are going to be the same. So domain roles remains the same, but within the domain role, the process of teaching, learning, evaluation, mentoring, etc., there will be a remarkable change. And I call this as a micro niche or micro ecosystem which will change. There will be a change in the ecosystem in which we, the principals, will have to deliver to the response of the crisis, as Professor Vijay Doshi very beautifully displayed, the crucible and the big list of leader in crisis. And therefore we'll have to adapt to these micro changes to the main in the main domain. Father Rector mentioned the 3 key values of St. Xavier's College, and I cannot be different from vision and mission statement of my college. But I have to tweak those 3 values with the new challenges and incorporate those 3 values with the new techniques, new technology. So 3 values, what Father mentioned, is innovation, integration, and inclusion. When we talk about innovation, we speak about training for professional innovation. In post-COVID era, we will have to motivate our staff to adapt the innovative methods of teaching and remotely proctoring these online teaching and evaluation system. There are several resources available to this, and the principal, as Professor John Varghese said, that he's a guide. We will have to guide our new faculty, our faculty members, towards these resources. Resource management will be the key in this new innovative teaching and learning. Promoting multidisciplinary learning, research and publication, because we still have to maintain the NAC balance. Requirement of NAC cannot be avoided. We can't tell them that we were affected by COVID. So we have to maintain the social distancing. We'll have to, while maintaining this social distancing, we have to balance these acts. If we can think of institutional collaboration and sharing the resources, was Professor Doshi was saying, I feel that if we can, all the institutes, say across the city or even intercity, if Professor Doshi, just for an example, I'm picking his name. Professor Doshi is expert in zoology and X area of zoology. And he has an e-content developed by himself for his own student. If we can collaborate with him or people like him who are ready to share those e-content available. So collaboration will save a lot of time, lot of energy, and lot of financial resources. So collaboration is the key, collaboration and cooperation, as he mentioned. E-content amongst the faculties of various institutions could be shared. We could achieve our goal, which are common for all, very easily by this strategy. Our second key value in St. Xavier's is personal integration, which will be tested in this post-COVID era. When they will be there, when the things will be happening remotely, we need to facilitate emotional, interpersonal, social, and spiritual intelligence. And we need to create an innovative methods in this endeavor. We could record all these online lectures, whatever we deliver. Some people already preparing the lectures. In next few months, we would be converting our 30% of the syllabus into online lectures. We could record these lectures and we could then share these lectures on pen drive in a rural area where students can't afford to have internet or internet is not available. Principals will have to keep the level of motivation high, both motivating teachers and motivating students to take up the new challenges in this new mode of teaching and learning. Honesty, transparency and accountability will play a major role while we practice this flexible work from home culture. Because if you are working from home, we cannot do two things simultaneously. We need to have full attention to the job or duty we are delivering. So work from home culture, remote proctoring of exams where the honesty and integrity will be tested. Our third value, the inclusion, education, inclusive education, will be more challenging to us. We need to make our large number of SWD students or differently able students conversant with this new technology. How we cater to these students' need is a big challenge to us, the principals. I have a student now who has successfully completed his FY. He's a visually challenged student and doing botany, chemistry, and zoology. How do I cater to him online? Because up till now, the last year we managed his sections, etc., with the tactile diagrams and kind of things. But now is a challenge to me and my faculty. How do we handle people like him? I don't have just one, but I have 30 of them. And I have 300 slow learners in college. So how do I tackle this? And I'm looking for solutions. So how do we create the proper teaching and learning environment for such students? As a principal, we need to ensure that such students do not miss any academic component and get equal opportunity in this new mode and teaching and learning. So here, what I just said, that if we could copy these lectures on a pen drive, these kind of things could be shared with them. And finally, Xavier is known for igniting students for their social responsibility. I feel that COVID-19 has provided them a multifold opportunities to fulfill their social responsibilities. I'm very happy to say, this is not a right platform, I know this, but I'm happy to say you must have read in newspaper today that St. Xavier's has offered the campus as a quarantine center. And many of our students, there was a notice from Mumbai University asking for NSS volunteer. And I just asked my social service league, and we had number of students coming forward to do these kind of things. So these are new challenges, new opportunities unfolding in front of us with this COVID-19. And we must look at it positively to face these challenges and take up these new technology transfer or change in technology transfer. Thank you very much. This was my last minute preparation while we were talking, and I realized Father Felix is not coming. I started penning down, so I don't have much data with me. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jamie.
I guess, sir, you have played very well as a night watchman. So now let's move on to the last part of this webinar. Moving on to the question and answer session, we have a lot of questions with us. We'll be starting with few of them. So the first question is to Dr. Lalitha Balakrishnan. The question is, someone wants to know that what is the role of government in industry-institute interface with regards to internship of students? I'll just repeat the question. Question is for you, Lalitha madam. I'll just unmute you first. Ma'am, can you please unmute yourself, Lalitha ma'am?
It's okay.
Yeah, I'll just repeat the question.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. The question is, what is the role of government in industry-institute interface with regards to internships of students?
So I think the basic guidelines are provided by the government. Apart from that, the industry and the institute, they interact and lay down the role, what the student has to do in the industry, etc. It is not as though the government is with us every step of the way. They have given us broad guidelines, and as long as we are within the guidelines, it's fine. The government does the encouraging factor, say, the experience that the student gains in the industry is good.
I think Dr. Joshi also can contribute to this. Government person.
I'm sorry, I will not like to call myself as a government person. I am a hardcore representation of principles in any forum, whether it is the government or otherwise.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to make a distinction here. How we take, what is the government role? Can you repeat the question, please? Because I missed that question. Can you, Jamie?
The question is, the question is, what is the role of government in industry-institute interface with regards to the internships to students? Can you hear me, sir? Rajendra sir, can you hear me?
I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
Vijay sir?
Vijay,
yeah.
Just repeat it again.
Okay, I'll just repeat it. The question is, what is the role of government in industry-institute interface with regards to internships to students?
Now the role of government in an internship is, I think now the way the internship is defined is been changing. And now government formulate the policy in order to facilitate the internship. I think there are two distinctions, because on-job training, internship, these terminologies are being loosely used for each other. Now they have changed that it is not required to have a continuous 6 months in the industry, but you can defer these 6 months during your holidays. Now, if you want to change this kind of a policy in order to facilitate students to go to the industry, I think that is what is the exact role of government. There are many officials, many IAS officers who are very keen, who represent the industry in their region, to see that they proactively recruit the students. The point is, our students should be worthy and should be applying to this industry. Industry is averse because the kind of students they go to them, they are not up to the mark. So I think the role of government is making policies so that the students are placed, and those who are proactive IAS officers make it happen.
All right. We have also made our first webinar on this particular topic. The topic name was Making Students Industry Ready. So the person who have raised this question can just check it out, that video. All right. Yeah. So we have next question for John Varghese, sir. So the question for you is, what is the role of principals or administrators of higher education institution in overcoming the barriers between students from various backgrounds? So we are talking about urban students coming from adequate facility like online infrastructure, and rural students without any internet facilities. So I'll just repeat it. So what is the role of higher administrators of higher education institute in overcoming the barriers between the students from various backgrounds?
Thank you, Jamin. I think it's very important for colleges to play an important role in minimizing the digital divide. So once we have our students in our institutions, we have to ensure that all are treated on par. In fact, college is a good example of that. Most of us are aware that it is difficult to get into St. Stephen's College, but once they have come in on the basis of their merit, everyone is treated on par. And so we have students coming from very remote areas in the country. We have students coming in from very poor language backgrounds. We have, even these years in the last admission, we have students who are first generation learners, and they compete and sit in the same class that have students coming from very privileged backgrounds. This is where the college and the institution has to play an important role in helping each one of them understand that learning can happen both ways, from the privileged to the marginalized, and from the marginalized to the privileged. And if there is a digital divide, then it is the responsibility of the institution to minimize that divide.
All right, sir. There is another question for you, John, sir. The question is, online education is future, but are we prepared to deliver to each and every student in such situation in a college? What will be the role of head of the institute?
I'm a little conservative in my approach. I will not fully embrace the idea that the future is entirely online. The role of a teacher will continue to be very crucial. Therefore, the role of a principal as a mentor, as a guide, as a visionary is also going to be very important. So that's my take on that question.
All right. So while I ask questions, yes, sir, Vijay, sir, you have something.
I think I was reading a wonderful book called as Data Literacy. I think we have always have a perception of a binary perception of everything. What is the state of a woman literacy in India? I think the answer people will give will be very obvious. It is not good. But I think if you see a data, the internet penetration and mobile penetration in this country is so vast, so big, and competing to the entire world. So we need to make sense. We have to reach to unreachable, and I'm fully endorse the view of Professor John that we need to see to it that the facility reaches to unreachable. And that's the reason why I have showed one slide. There are various ways by which we can do it. But just giving, because of our data, insufficient data and a data literacy issue, since there is a no connectivity, let us not do online. Now that kind of a anti-tech decision administrator should not take. I think we need to go forward. Of course, there's a blended. Of course, the role of a teacher will not change. But if we want to use this, I think we'll have to be data wise and find out. I'm very sure in a rural setup, because we do certain MDCs. Now, these MDCs are, there are 7 MDCs in Maharashtra, and these MDCs are remotely placed. And in the district where the average students going to college is very, very less. Now, we were trying to reach out to them. I was amazed to see a response of the student on a mobile. So I have said that we have missed the bus of e-learning. Let us use this device, which is a mobile, which is in the hands of the student today. And if not, Dr. Rajendra Shinde has very rightly said, I will not ask even a pen drive. I will ask that small chip which can be inserted into the mobile. So I have one whole slide giving you the way to bridge this divide and first understand whether how much divide exists on the basis of a data of an institution where you are teaching and learning.
All right. Now, actually, we are flooded with the questions, but at the same time, we are running out of time. So before we conclude the session, I would like all the speakers to give their closing statements, a final message to all the participants about, or a final message that you want to give to all the participants or college leaders. I would start with Professor John Varghese, Principal of St. Stephen College.
Thank you, Jamin. What I'd like to leave with everybody here, a thought is that all of us are teachers and all of us are learners. I think that is something we should carry with us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Lalitha, ma'am?
So I've always gone by the idea that whatever we do, whenever we do it, it is survival of the fittest. And we have to keep adapting ourselves to the changing roles that we face ourselves in. So today it may be a COVID-19, tomorrow it could be something else. So whatever it may be, each one has a role to perform. A leader has to evolve, and definitely adaptation will help the person to survive and be the better for it. So all of you remember that change is the only thing which is constant, and therefore keep your minds, keep your eyes and ears open, and open to learning new things. And I'm sure what evolves out of that is going to be the best for all of us. That is the thought I would like to leave with all of you. Thank you once again for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Vijay sir, your take.
Yes, so I think the destiny has given us a chance to lead the entire new generation. So I will request every leader to be very, very compassionate, think out of box, and try and do maximum, because your contribution in a generation is going to build the nation, because every student sitting in your class is going to help this nation to go forward. And I have a tremendous respect in the power of youth. So this youth is looking towards you for an out-of-box compassionate innovations in the leadership.
Thank you so much, Vijay sir. Now over to you, Rajendra sir. Your take.
You want to take or you want me to conclude? Okay.
No, first I want your last words.
Okay. So I feel it's a wonderful opportunity for all the, not just the principals, but for the teachers and students, opportunity given by the nature to convert this into a very positive kind of benefit to everyone. And I'm sure we all will emerge positively with a nice solutions from this. We need to be little flexible and adaptive. That's all.
All right, sir. So here we are, and now what can I say about this last, you can say, episode? For me, it is astounding, exceptional, and incredible. These are the words I have for whatever I have heard today. So actually, I never ever want to conclude this webinar, because with this webinar, even this season is ending. So, but here we are at the final 10 minutes of the entire season, and I would like Dr. Rajendra Shinde again to conclude the entire webinar. And before sir, you give your closing speech, I would also like to know your philosophy of leadership, if you have any, and then just conclude it.
Okay. My philosophy of leadership is just to be very open. If you ask my colleagues, my door is open. Whatever Professor John Varghese mentioned in his speech, I had not met him before, but I follow everything what he said. And I learned that philosophy from my mentor, Father Fraser Mascarenhas. I cannot forget to mention his name here, because I worked under him as vice principal for 6 years, and this is what I learned. So be open, be flexible, be adaptive, listen to everyone, be sensitive to each other's feeling, and that's my philosophy of leadership. With this, I would like to conclude, and I would conclude and put my vote of thanks together so that we don't have to repeat. Firstly, I feel very sorry that we couldn't have Father Felix Raj with us because of the cyclone which has created havoc in Kolkata and the internet connection. But we must remember him here. He agreed to be with us. In spite of that, he has been trying. He was till afternoon, he said, I will try. So I would like to thank him even if he is not here. Professor John Varghese gave a very lucid philosophy of teaching. He spoke about a facilitator, the leader as a facilitator or principal as facilitator, mentor, participant, leader, head, and a visionary person. And he said to be successful mentor, you must be a good listener and good observer. I think that's a very good commend. And the last, he gave us a wonderful example of those three servants, and he said everyone is a visionary. All you need to do is its ability to think positive. Each one of us must be visionary. You need to recognize this talent within you and proceed. We had Dr. Lalitha Balakrishnan. I would like to thank Professor John. I guess he left because he had some appointment, but Professor John Varghese, and I had met him when I became a principal. I always had that St. Stephen, just like people think about, best college. So I always wanted to see and visit St. Stephen College. And I had an opportunity to visit Delhi, and I got an appointment from him. So he invited me for a lunch. He said, come for a lunch. And he showed me the college around, and it was amazing to see. And I asked him, would you tell me the secret, how you managed to be at the top of all rankings? He said, you need to come here and stay, and then only you will learn. So thank you, Professor John Varghese. Thank you for accepting my request and giving us such a wonderful speech. Dr. Lalitha Balakrishnan spoke about 6 R's: responsibility of restructuring, reinventing teaching methodology, restoring the confidence in the parents, which is very important. In fact, ma'am, I took that tip from you, and I'm going to do that soon. And I also like the idea of mom's club. Though we at Xavier's won't be, it's co-ed, so we will have to mom and pop that together. Then kindling the interest in the students. Yes, that's really important, because pre-COVID, we have been having a lot of students with depressions. Number of students coming to us because of various reasons. The reasons were academics, family, other things. And I'm sure this COVID situation will now increase the cases of depression. The students are losing the interest, what is happening around. So we need to rekindle them. We need to assure them that everything is fine and we will come out of this together. She also spoke about reskilling and rural and semi-urban area, reaching to those rural students. Thank you, ma'am. It's interesting to know how I met Dr. Lalitha. Dr. Lalitha was sent to us as a panel member on CE, College of Excellence committee, who came for Vigilance Committee. And when she came, another person with her was Professor Sangeet Ragi from Delhi. And she liked what we were doing so much that she said, no, you must come to Chennai. And as a result of that, I visited her college as a speaker for some other program. And I thought, after seeing that, I thought I should invite her here. So this is the kind of collaboration I've been talking about. We can, as a principal, as a leader, if you're going to different places, don't just visit the places, keep your eyes and ear open. You might find a person who could be very useful to your institution. So thank you very much, ma'am. She also agreed without any hesitation to come and speak to us. And the last but not the least, he is a mentor, he is a guide, he is a friend. Can I call you that?
Sure, of course,
Yeah.
I am friend.
So Dr. Doshi is a friend, and we have been sharing the platform very regularly after I became a principal last 3-4 times. Before we became principal, I became principal also.
That also.
I shared the platform with him. And he's a very versatile person, excellent speaker. And when I asked him, he was without any hesitation. He said, anything for you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I would just, in a brief, point out what Doshi sir has said. The leadership in crucible crisis, and that it's a wonderful example, wonderful presentation, how the leader could act in that scenario. He spoke about 3 scenarios: respond to different scenarios. The leader must be resilient. He need to reorganize the whole structure. There will be a lot of changes in policies, yes, and we need to adapt to those change of policies. And the biggest change of policy would be work from home. And now when the work from home is there, we might have to start the lectures at 7 o'clock and end the lectures at 10 o'clock. And many campuses in foreign countries also, there are many campuses have the lectures starting at 9 p.m. and ending at 11 p.m. So the flexibility, the policy changes, decision making, technology related decisions need to be very careful. Yes, decision needs to be taken. Management will have to be very proactive in supporting the principals, because principal alone cannot sign those bills. With the bringing in new technology, we will have to invest a lot of money in this. Decision making has to be done, and I like your M coaching idea. And last that you gave us, he's very resourceful. I have noticed this in many occasions, and he gave us a lot of resources, probably homework to all the principals. And the idea what I liked from yours, sir, is a rotation of students online and offline. So Joshi sir, thank you very much. And last but not least, I would like to thank Jaimin. Jaimin, you have been a wonderful teacher, because I think Professor John made this comment in the morning when you were teaching us how to operate Zoom and unmute and mute. I think this is a wonderful platform. The best thing is there is no financial liabilities on the institution's part. So I didn't have to spend any money for this. So I'm sure Jaimin must be extending this facility to all the institutions. Am I right? Or I'm causing a problem. So Jaimin, thank you very much. It's a wonderful opportunity you have been providing by arranging these seasonal seasons. And as someone said earlier, that have many more seasons like this. And I'm sure many principals will come forward to organize these kind of things. And to my fellow participants, fellow principals and vice principals, deans, whoever is here, we had around 475 in the beginning. It's 303. Obviously, the clock is ticking. So thank you very much. Without your participation, this was not possible. Thank you very much. I'm sure all of us, you got something to take back with you. Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much to Rajendra sir as well for co-hosting, or maybe allowing us to co-host a webinar with you. I mean, it was really a pleasure to co-host a webinar. Rajendra sir was also a resource person in our 6th episode, which was on the certificate race. And that you can say session was really wonderful. And today is like, I mean, I have no words to explain. So before we end, I would just like to mention the team members behind this initiative. So it's not just me as an individual handling the entire event or all of this, but it is the entire team of teachers. Our company's name is Teachers. So which includes Mr. Chintan Vyas, who is the man behind all the administrative support. And even if you want this certificate, he is the person who is distributing the certificate. Then we have Mr. Shrikant Pujari, the man behind all the media strategies and even the one who gave this name, Let's Talk Education. And lastly, we have Mr. Chandrakant Sawant, the person behind designing all the creative initiatives or invites and all the materials. So yes, finally, we are concluding this session on a high note. We are open to all the ideas you have, any innovative topics you have, or any upcoming issues on which we should conduct a webinar. We are really open to it. So please give your suggestions in the feedback form, which will be shared in some time. And just for the matter of fact, this webinar was attended by representatives of more than 300 colleges from 21 different states. So I really would like to thank each and every one of you for giving such a huge response to us. So thank you everyone for joining this session. I hope you all had, I mean, a fruitful time and you found it insightful. And certificates of participation will be delivered to you in a week's time. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe. Stay inside.
Thank you all the speakers as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Shinde sir, thank you.
Hey.